It's another beautiful day here in the Shire, and Renee's about to have surprise guests. 20 minutes out. Dessert? Not even on the radar.
This is what I make when time runs out. It's fast, it's forgiving, and it always looks like more effort than it was. Some berries, some flour, a little bit of sugar, and enough butter to make it look like you were planning to do this all along. All right, the first step is I have blueberries here. Fresh blueberries are great. I'm using frozen today because that's all I have. We are going to take some sugar, a little bit of flour, and we're going to mix that together. And I'm also going to put a little bit of nutmeg, probably somewhere between a pinch and a quarter of a teaspoon. You don't want this to overpower the blueberries, but it does add a nice flavor. So I'm going to just, this is kind of to taste, but I am going to add a little bit of nutmeg, which goes really well with blueberries. Then I'm going to take a lemon, and I'm going to take my fork, which I find to be easier, especially when the lemons aren't, it's not lemon season. Get as much out of there as I can and get those seeds out of there. And then I'm going to put, that's probably a tablespoon. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of lemon juice in there just to brighten this up a little bit. And I'm going to continue stirring this. And then I'm going to put these aside and let them just kind of sit with that sugar for a little while. And we'll come back and stir this again. That will start melting there. Okay. Okay, and the next step here is we're going to put our butter in this pan, melt that. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to brown it just a little bit to give it some depth of flavor in there. And you don't have to do this step. You can just melt the butter and add the next ingredients. But there's something about browned butter that just adds a little bit of an elegant taste. So we'll just brown this butter a little bit. And I'm just going to brown it ever so slightly. Let's just keep an eye on that. This is going to go fast. Okay, this is starting to brown. I'm going to let this go for about another 30 seconds, and then I'm going to add the next ingredients. When the bubbles start to go away, that's when you can tell it's going to start browning. And I mean, by go away, get smaller. I don't want this to be, I want it to be a bright tasting recipe, but this just does add some flavor, so I'm not going to take it all the way down. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I'm going to turn that off. And then we're going to let that cool down just a little bit so that it doesn't burn the flour. I'm going to put this in a different bowl so it cools off faster and it doesn't stay in that hot pan. So now let's give the blueberries a stir. See how that's melting down? All right, that's looking great. Let that sit while we mix the rest of this. All right, and we're going to put our sugar in, some sugar in with some flour. Give that a stir. And then we're going to put our butter in. Okay, we're going to stir this up. It'll look like a dough. Sure that's all mixed together well. Okay, that looks perfect, she says with confidence. So we're going to take a measuring cup just so we can, it can be a regular cup. I'm just going to see how much I can disperse in these ramekins that makes sense. So we're going to start each ramekin with the half a cup. And I can tell that we can put probably, the blueberries shrink down, so we'll just put another quarter cup in there. Let's take a quarter of a cup, a little less. Put that on top. As we all know, the crumb is the king of the fruit desserts, so we need to make sure that there's enough on there. Okay, that looks good. Those look even. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna put these in and we'll give it a shot and see what happens.
If dessert always came together this fast, we'd never have to plan ahead again. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And I gotta say, I'm cautiously optimistic.
So these look done. They've crisped up nicely on the outside. There's some texture there. Whoa. And they're bubbling, and they look quite yummy. We'll let these cool off for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and give it a taste. Okay, so let's put some whipped cream on one of these. This is my homemade whipped cream, which I made yesterday, and it's a really good recipe. It holds well in the refrigerator, as you can tell, and you can watch the recipe here. Get a spoon. And let's give this a try. Look at that. It's juicy. It's yummy. Look at that heat. Can you see the steam coming off of that? Yum. Okay. Oh my word. This top is like a shortbread type. It just falls apart in your mouth. This is amazing. That's one of the best toppings I've tasted. It's just completely different. It's not hard. It almost melts in your mouth, but it's crunchy at the same time. It's delicious. And so easy. This is the easiest recipe ever. Really, once you have the ingredients together, I bet you could put this together in 10 minutes. It is delicious.
Renee made it look easy, and that's because it was. So next time you need an emergency dessert, you'll have this one in your back pocket. We've got more great videos waiting for you. So until next time.
Thank you.